This meeting is being live streamed. That's what I like to see.
So what do you do? Say got it?
Yeah, you got to say got it. I think if you don't say got it, and I've never not said got it.
Boots you.
If you don't say got it, it boots you. So anyone that hasn't said got it isn't here right now. But it is a very good segue. Thank you, Jill. Because this meeting, everyone, is being recorded. It is being streamed live on our Facebook group. And it means that if you don't want to be recorded, because you will be recorded, you will be uploaded to our LMPG master database, where we will do nefarious things, not really, but you will be on our webinar library. So if you don't want to be recorded, you don't want your name showing, etc., etc., feel free to mute yourself. Feel free to turn your camera off, anonymize your name, or if you're feeling particularly shy, you can jump off this stream here and go onto our Facebook group, because we have got a live simulcast, which is a simultaneous broadcast on the Facebook group, and we won't be able to see that you're on there, but you can still comment, and we will be monitoring comments as well. Thank you so much for joining us tonight for the final LMPG expert lock-in, I almost forgot what they're called, webinar, effectively, of 2022 with LMPG and of our season 6. And it wouldn't quite be an LMPG lock-in series without drawing Magnet back in for their annual cameo. The last time we had these guys on was December 9th, 2021. Oh, glorious days, oh, heady days. But a lot has changed in a year, as it always does with Magnet. But I think, would you say, Jill, in particular, this year's been more changed than most?
I think we're trying to get back to normal now after COVID. So we've seen a big spike in kitchens this year, which we did last year, to be honest, during COVID. And I think that we sustained that amount of kitchens that we've supplied. So well done to the members. Yeah.
Well done to the members, and well done to Magnet, and well done to me as well. I've really worked hard on this as well, Jill. So, you're talking about getting back to normal. It is very much a new normal, and that's what we'll be talking about a little bit tonight as well. Change the processes a bit internally, and I wasn't sure if I was going to say it or not, but you'll remember back in summer, whenever it was announced to us internally at LMPG, I wasn't a fan of the new process at all. And I said, look, Jill, we'll try it, but it's not going to work. You probably got very irritated with all my complaining that day.
I did.
Absolutely. But to your credit, and I don't want to steal the thunder for later on, there's been, I would say, a dramatic change in the way that not just the members are now being treated, the issues are now being looked at very quickly and with great consistency as well, but we're actually tracking them a lot better. It used to be a little bit of a Wild West where we at LMPG were really good at keeping track of everything, but it would still be 4 or 5 people our end, and it'd be 23 people your side. And everyone works differently. Everyone's got different holidays. Everyone's got different illnesses, etc., etc., etc. There wasn't much of a formalized, this is what we're going to do in that situation. And if there were different interpretations of that. So I'm probably going too far ahead already, but we'll be talking about that in a little bit. Before then, let's just introduce you. So my name is Anthony Bailey-Grice. I'm the MD of LMPG. We've got Bav sitting in the background there in his pictureless room up in the LMPG attic, who's going to be managing the chat box and the live stream. So if you do have questions throughout tonight, whether they be very specific or very general or whatever we want to talk about, pop them in the chat box, which you can find at the bottom of Zoom right here. Or if you're on Facebook, hello to those on Facebook, feel free to drop a comment and we'll be monitoring that as well. We'll interrupt throughout. Or if you're feeling particularly brave, you can unmute yourself and just jump right in. We like it when they do that because it from Magnet tonight, we've got Jill Davis, who's everyone should know by now because you are now, I think, our most regularly featured guest. Jill, how does that feel?
Yeah, special.
I think this is your 5th time on the lock-in now.
I think so. I think people are getting fed up of me. I think they'll think I'm working for LMPG.
You're scratching a tally into your bedroom wall, I can already tell.
Yeah.
And we've got Arron Tanner. Arron, have you been on before?
No, this is my honour to be on my first LMPG webinar, so I'm looking forward to it and all that it brings.
I love the optimism. And Arron, can you just quickly introduce yourself then?
Yeah, absolutely. So just a quick, short, I guess, a short story on me. 10 years with Magnet. Roughly 50% of that time spent with stores, managing stores, doing that sort of thing. Managed the Leicester store for a number of years. Moved over to what was CKS, Magnet CKS, which is our contracts division, is now Magnet Projects. Moved over in 2016, and now I'm the regional manager for the Central East region, which basically pretty much half the country. So it goes all the way up from Shropshire in the north, in the northwest, down to sort of Worcestershire and across to East Anglia, taking in Lincolnshire, etc., and Essex along the way, and all that's in between. So that's me.
And also happens to be LMPG's biggest region by quite a margin.
Yes, it does. Yeah. I mean, one of the benefits that we have as a region is that LMPG's head office is based in our region. So it's based in, obviously, Hinckley, Leicestershire. And the benefit of that is there's a number of high concentration of members around that area and in my area in general. So yeah, so benefit quite a bit from the members. Thank you for that.
Well, definitely. I mean, it's not just about the concentration of members as well. I'd say that of all the regions, you've got the service proposition right. So it's great to have kind of leading by example. We had Ross on last year. I think he's in your area, is he?
He is. Ross is one of our sales managers and a very good one at that. And yeah, he's a top guy.
Yeah, definitely had his head screwed on when it came to the service proposition. So look, we've yabbered on long enough. It's time to introduce yourself properly with your the pictures that come fading in and out. Shall we pop up the presentation?
Yep.
Record time.
Okay. Can you see that okay? Yeah.
Fantastic.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, so do you want me to take over? Anthony, I've lost your
sorry,
voice.
I muted myself. I've got Nick on the line, so this must be good news. Can you fill the gap? Thank you.
Okay. Okay, right, okay, so everyone that knows me and that doesn't know me, should I say, my name is Jill Davis. I'm the National Key Account Manager for LMPG, so I look after the accounts. Okay, today, the introduction, I'll do that in a minute. We're going to talk about members' journey. We're also going to talk about product updates for 2022/23. We're going to talk about the price bands, because I know a lot of people are wondering why and what price band that they should be buying a kitchen in. A price update, and we've got a don't forget. So let's see. Okay, so as we mentioned before, this is me. I'm Jill Davis, as I said, the National Key Account Manager, and I've worked for Magnet for 15 years, just like Arron. I've worked in a store. I think we're all store background for our sins. So I worked in the Bromborough store as a retail designer and went through CKS, which is the contract division, which is now Magnet Projects. Okay, and this is Arron Turner, as you've met. Arron is one of the regional managers. We have 6 regional managers throughout Magnet Projects, and they all look after their own region. And Arron is the one that has the biggest area, so most of you are placed within the central area. So hence that's why he's on tonight. Okay. Now I'm going to go through the members' journey. I'm not going to teach you to suck eggs, but I'm just going to point out, because when this is really for the new members and for those that tend to forget, but on the partners page on the LMPG, it's not just Magnet, it's about everybody's. We have buying instructions, so it just makes your journey a little bit easier when you actually read, and I know a lot of people don't like to read. So for instance, somebody might go into open an LMPG account and then go into a Magnet store and then get a kitchen price, the quote, and then they say, oh, well, I'm an LMPG member. It doesn't work like that. So LMPG, we've been in partnership with them for over 10 years. Well, we're entering our 10th year, should I say. And they've negotiated your prices. So it's not a kidology. You are getting contract prices. So I just want to point that out. So make sure that you flash your LMPG card when you go into the store. If you phone them up, explain my name is whoever and I'm an LMPG member and I want to make an in-store appointments to sit down with the designer. Now I just need to point out the 3 divisions or 3 arms to the magnet. So we have the magnet retail, we have the magnet trade, and we also have the contract division. Now you can go into the magnet retail stores, but please don't engage with any designers. A lot of the stores are mixed sites, so you can, if there's a trade arm to it, you can, make an appointment to see a trade designer. I would strongly suggest that you do sit down with a designer because they've got the big screens, and when you start this journey and you want a kitchen, they can put the measurements on the screen. You can see your kitchen taking shape and you can actually see what it looks like in virtual reality. So for me, when I was a retail designer, it was wow when people looked at the screen. So I think that's a big, plus, if I'm honest, if I was buying a kitchen. Okay, I just want to point out that once you join LMPG, your account is automatically open. We have a cash account, so it is cash, sales. So they're all open automatically. LMPG gives a list every week and we open your accounts automatically. On the page is also a guide for those who don't know how to measure a kitchen, what information we need. So it'll talk you through what measurements you need to take, measure in the room, the windows, the doors, what services you need to provide, where there's a boiler in the kitchen, where the stop tap is, just to make sure that we don't put appliances over and in awkward places. Okay, as I said before, we have moved away from COVID, so you need to phone up the store, the local store to the property, not the local store to where you are. So if you think about it, you're in London and you're doing a property in Birmingham, you would phone up the nearest Birmingham store to the postcode that you've got. And there is a lookup on the Magnet website. So you can put your postcode on and it will tell you which store to use. Okay. So you must use the local store because we can't ship kitchens. They come from the store. They don't come from a central depot. They actually come from the store. So I just want to make that, clear, because I've had people buying a kit, going into a London store and trying to get a kitchen delivered to Cardiff, and it's just not viable. We just can't do that. Okay, so just make sure that you book an appointment nearest the Magnet store. And we've moved away from COVID, so we've moved away from online designs. The online design tool will be a retail thing only. So you need to phone up the branch and make an appointment. If you don't want to go in, I completely understand. Just get the email address and take your measurements and send it over. But I will point out that if you do that, you're expected to wait probably about 5 days, because they're probably sitting with customer facing people. So if you can understand that, they're going to deal with people that are walking in before they're dealing with you, and they'll fit you in the meantime when they haven't got somebody with them. So that's why I say I would really go into the store. Okay, the retail, as I said before, it is a trade design service. So we do expect you to go to the trade department. You can look in the retail, but just don't engage and make an appointment or anything like that. Just go to the trade side and just point out that you're an LMPG member. Okay, it makes it easier. Now, the other thing to mention is what's on here, and a few people get confused about this. We do expect you to have some kind of basic knowledge about your kitchen layout. So you'll see a kitchen that you've got already. Because it's contract rates, and Nick will be a big advocate, and Anthony, for this, to say that we limit the design changes to 2. So I just want to point this out because people, don't really want to make that many changes, and that's why I'm saying it's important to go in to sit with them so that you can see the kitchen taking shape. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. And look, just talking about not just that, but also the trade design. From your own personal benefit as a member, these trade designers' time is so hard to get sometimes. They've got back-to-back appointments. So you don't want to be starting that, spending that hour designing the kitchen and asking really basic questions such as, what does this kitchen look like? What does that kitchen look like? Have a bit of an idea beforehand. We've got a brochure on the website. There's Magnet retail showrooms all over the country, and you're welcome to go in there and see the kitchens for yourself I know we're going to be talking about that in a little bit as well, so I'm not going to spoil that. I'm very tempted to just then. But they're having a really nice refresh as well. It's about kind of getting further down the line. So firstly, that trade designer isn't going back and forth 400 times because there's not the margin to be able to do that. But also that hour is better spent with an expert talking about specific things specific to that kitchen that are really going to make the difference, rather than, oh, I'm not sure whether I like the blue door or whether I like the green door. You can figure that out on your own time. You don't need them to tell you which one to go for. Just while we're on this, Jill, because I'm on a bit of a roll here, I feel. We've got a couple of questions that have come in about what you've said there. So Nigel said, just to clarify, are we only supposed to make an appointment with trade designers and not retail designers?
Correct.
But sometimes, Jill, the trade accountants or the branch manager do push you over to a retail designer.
Yeah, I get that, Nick, and you're absolutely right to say that. But if you point out the magic word is LMPG, so if you tell me you're an LMPG member, and if they've had a dedicated member of staff that may be working in the retail side, they might say, oh, Arron looks after the LMPG members. So, and they may be in the retail design, in the retail department. So just say you want to remember and you want a trade kitchen design. They might say the retail look after that. So yeah, as I was in a retail branch, I would look after trade as well as retail. So because I was in a mixed site, so you're right to point that out. But if you just point it out, they'll lead you whichever branch. Once
that's pointed out, then is the advice then to not worry and proceed with the appointment, or is it to kind of dig your heels in and say, no, I'm LMPG, I've got to go through the trade design appointment?
No, if they're pushing you to a retail, as long as they understand, because as I mentioned before, the terms are already negotiated. It's not kidology, they're fantastic prices that you're actually getting. And thanks to Nick and his hard work and driving the prices down, it's not, it's not a secret. They know what the terms are. But some retail stores might not know. So that's why I'm saying, if you drive it through the trade, then at least the trade will have somebody in the retail that will manage those, terms, that will know about it.
Sure. And just to cover yourself, sorry, Nick, just to cover yourself off there, I would suggest, we're talking about saying you're with LMPG. You mentioned that 2 or 3 times, but I would actually have that written down. Just send them an email, just following up, as we discussed. I'm an LMPG member, happy to speak to retail. Yeah. Then you've not got a back and forth later on down the line. Should the worst happen, I said I was LMPG, no, you didn't. It's back and forth, and we've got to hit that too late.
Yeah, you're correct in saying that, Anthony, because we do have that. New members will join, they won't understand the process, they'll go in and get a kitchen, they'll, design a price, and then later on they'll say, I'm an LMPG member, how much do I get? And then they're naffed off about it, because I'm not being funny, these figures go on our numbers, which is the contract division. They're rewarded in other ways, and they have their own set of customers that they have to manage too. So
absolutely, and look, and I'm not disagreeing with you. It does happen. It can also happen the other way as well. It can be a misunderstanding that someone thinks they've said something and they've not, or there's the branch manager's misunderstood. But it just covers you that much better if you can actually point to some black and white and say, here's where I said I'm an LMPG member.
Anthony, some more questions, good questions leading on to that. Can you read them out?
Oh yeah, I've got thousands firing in already. So Craig's mentioned that their local branch is in Ayr in Scotland, but they've actually never been able to get a physical or virtual trade appointment. Should they be able to do that?
They should, yeah. They should be able to, yeah. We do have, on the end of this presentation, it shows you the branches, and this information is also on the LMPG website for members to see. We have the areas broken down, and they're highlighted in yellow or orange, as the case may be, which and it shows you the better stores, which Arron, and I'm stealing Aaron's thunder here, because what we've identified is the better stores to deal with, and it just means that there's more staff in there. They know what they're talking about, they're more experienced, because if you think about it, we have got a lot of newbies that start with us and they don't understand the process, and by the time we've gotten to them, your members have already gone in. So if we've got a problem with Ayr, we need to address that, and we will bring the regional manager, Arron's equivalent, into the mix, and we will get David Clark to deal with Arron, just explain what the situation is. So apologies for that, but we should be.
I guess that's one to take offline with Craig, perhaps directly, Jill, and just to establish whether is it that they're refusing to sit down and offer a service, or is it just that timescales, or are they suggesting that they can't do it for X amount of time, or understanding that, I guess.
And one of the things is, and members need to also understand this, is we speak to Magnet now at 1 o'clock every day. So, and I'll repeat that, we speak with Magnet at 1 o'clock every day. So if you have a problem with the branch, can't get into the design yet, or there's an issue, don't wait a week, 10 days to bring that issue to us. Bring it within 48 hours. We will talk to Jill and her team. And then we have a process if there's any issues and what the conclusion was and how did we deal with that. We're turning issues round now really, really quickly. So if you ever have a problem, because this is a massive account, we do 6.5 million, 350 kitchens a month. So there's always going to be some, okay, I better watch my language on it because this is being recorded, some idiot. Yes. If you hit an idiot, pick up the phone. Just walk out, pick up the phone, and we take it over for you. Okay. Yeah. We've got 2 people that look after LMPG. We speak on a daily basis. I saw one there also was about a builder. They want the builder to design and get the quotes, etc. Yeah. Under no circumstances is that allowed, because once that builder has got a quote in his name, he's now on contract division. And then the branch are going to get totally peed off with us because suddenly you've got a builder that's got the LMPG quote, and now suddenly you say, I want them prices because I've already got one quote. And then that becomes the norm. That's why on boilers, we get rebates off the boiler to bring the retail price down to a contract price. Okay. And your builder, your plumber's not allowed to go in and buy it. It's the same on every contract. Whether it's boilers, paint, anything. You have to purchase the product. Okay, I just want to make that quite clear, because I think going forward, and we've been quietly behind the scenes having these meetings every day, dealing with issues, and they're being dealt with really quickly. And that's not my imagination, is it, Anthony and Jill?
No, I mean, I think Jill's got some numbers to show us later on to demonstrate exactly that. And I said at the top of this meeting, Nick, when Jill proposed this to us at LMPG, I was one of the people that was really negative toward it. I said, I don't want to do this. I don't think it's going to work. And it's completely changed my opinion the last few months.
Okay, I'll move on to the next screen because that will probably help you understand. Okay, so as we're entering the 10th year with LMPG with our partnership, we just want to point out where we are with our customer service. So we had ad hoc field sales managers, the CSMs, they were the contract sales managers. So they looked after a group of stores that sat under the likes of Arron, but we've taken that element away, and that's what Anthony's talking about. So they were dubious that we took this support away and we put in this daily call. And the reason why we did that is that the field sales managers are field-based, so they're looking at sites, they're here, there and everywhere. So by the time they were resolving issues, we're into day 3, day 4, day 5, and that's just not good enough. So what we put in place is a daily phone call. So the LMPG office take all the inquiries, whether it's how do I shop with Magnet, to a full-blown escalation problem as to what's gone on, a breakdown in communication, we haven't got the stuff, the stock's damaged or whatever it is, because it's a nightmare. We sell kitchens and so many different components, so we are mindful of that. So we want to improve the members' experience, their journey through buying from us, and we do listen to people, and so we want to resolve issues quicker, and that's what we're doing. LMPG are kept in the loop, so we're completely transparent about everything. So we don't want you to phone if you've got an issue with the store. If the store can't deal with it, phone LMPG. LMPG will put it on the daily phone log and we will deal with it. We have a wonderful girl called Krishna who deals with all the issues, whatever they are, and they're dealt with very, very, very quickly. We want to form better relationships with the members, with LMPG, and obviously ourselves, so that we all are singing off the same hymn sheet here. Okay, and it helps members to understand the process, because we do have members that haven't read, they don't know, they go in and then, oh, you know, I got a wrong price and they won't give me an LMPG price. Like we explained before, you must show your card. The LMPG card is the secret to all of this, to making it successful, so that you tell them on the onset. Okay, as Nick said before, we monitor how we look after the members. So any issue that goes into the office is logged on a daily spreadsheet. We have a master spreadsheet by month, and that tells you exactly what the issue is, how we resolve it, and they're all numbered so that we know where we're dropping the ball, if you like, so or not, or whether it's a member's experience that they don't understand. Okay, so this is the query log that we share with LMPG. Obviously, it's broken down by segment, but just to give you an idea, these are general inquiries down to full escalation. Now you'll see on there, the biggest percentage is 35% is waiting for a design. Now that could be your expectation of you've just sent an email over and nobody's picked it up. Everybody's busy, they're dealing with something. You might think, I need that quote by tomorrow, but you need to pick up the phone, you need to speak to the store. So it's not, you know, we just have identified that that is the biggest area that we have the biggest issue with. And then obviously the next one is branch complaints. And I'm going to tell you about that because sometimes people don't get on with people, or they rub people up the wrong way, or whatever the situation is. So we try to interact and try to mediate between what's happened and how we're going to overcome it. Okay, and just to give you a little graph, since we've been doing it over the last 4-month period, which nobody knows about, only LMPG and ourselves, we've gone from 31 to 41 to 18 to 20 inquiries, and that's per month. That's all we've had. So the numbers dropping quite drastically. Out of the 110 queries, 107 were resolved within 72 hours. So I think that's pretty good, if I'm honest.
And if you look, what we have been doing for every new member that joins LMPG, we run a getting started webinar. Yeah. On the first week of the following month. So we explain the process of Magnet, Wolseley, juicers, etc., etc., etc. What we haven't been able to do is we've got the message out, but like people don't read, they've got a busy life. We're sending out emails, we're sending out on how to use the new procedures, because all we're trying to do is give that journey, customer service journey, okay, a better journey. Yeah, we're just about, and I know it's not Wolseley's, it's Magnet, but just let people know. And it will take me a year to get the message out. Wolseley have set up a brand new team to look after LMPG members by phone. Yeah, instead of going backwards and forwards. We saw a graph yesterday, one person sent 29 emails, backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards, backwards, 29. I said, rip up the freaking email machine, yes, and just pick up the phone and talk to somebody. So that's the process we're going down, okay? And coming back to the Magnet, if you look, the 31, the 20, 41, the 18, the 20, that's still 18, 20 too much, because we're always going to have issues. It's just way of life at the moment, okay? Whether you shop at, I don't know, anywhere in the world, if you go into B&Q, Wixies, there's always going to be issues. But what I'm really excited about is how quickly we are now resolving issues. And it doesn't feel that pressure like it used to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Nick. And so over the 110 queries, 981 kitchens have been solved, so over that period. So I think that's pretty good. Okay. Right, and this one's over to Arron now.
Just a quick question, Joe, before we move on to Arron. While we're on the topic of customer service side of things, and just making sure that members have a better understanding of the process. You mentioned in terms of design changes that LMPG members can request an X number of design changes after they've selected their design. Nigel, who's ready to, begin their process of ordering their kitchen around Christmas time, is simply asking, so when it comes to the design changes side of things, is that something that they need to do via email, or do they have to book additional appointments?
It depends on what they've done. I mean, sometimes it's both. It could be going into the store, but I think that, I spoke to somebody today without mentioning any names, and they had 20 design changes. And you can understand why a branch would get a little bit fed up of changing the kitchen that many times, because it's just not practical to keep changing the kitchen. That's why it's important to go in, so that you can see it. We've got these big screens. Why not use them? Just spare some time and go in, book that appointment, go in, sit with the designer. Because do you know what? They'll think of something. And when you form a conversation, when I was a retail designer, I'd be sitting with a member and I'd be starting on my wish list. Right, what do you want? What do you want in your kitchen, and let's try and work all of that out. Some people wanted islands or whatever. The kitchen was totally impractical to have these things. And if you just email your designs over and you haven't got that face-to-face connection with somebody, they're designing it bland without you, blindfolded, without you being there. So I would, if it was my kitchen, I'd be investing in trying to get into the store and get that kitchen design personally.
I think to further on Jill, just to develop that a little bit as well. The smallest change in a kitchen design can still have a large impact. You could change a 400 cabinet to a 300 cabinet, but the way the design software works, and it's a market-leading kitchen design software, is you're essentially unpicking everything to get to that unit, to change it, to then put everything back. So a simple 40 centimeter unit change to a 30 centimeter unit change, because we might have got a measurement wrong or something like that, could potentially take up to an hour, as silly as that might sound. So limiting it to trying to get it right first time is the emphasis is on that, really. And Jill's right. If you can go in and you've got your builder who's done the measurements, you've done the measurements, or the builder's checked the measurements, or whatever it is, take some accurate measurements in, make sure you annotate on there where services are, things like that, windows, doors, etc. Take those in. The designer will work with you, and you should be able to get there or thereabouts in the first visit, really, to be quite honest, if you sat with them, particularly for when it's a rent, it's for a rental, and it's not a personal member's kitchen. You should be really hitting the sweet spot on the first go.
Aaron, I don't ever think, and I might be wrong here, we never seem to get any issues when it's a buy-to-let. It's normally done and dusted. Where the problem does come is when they're buying for their own home, okay? Because don't forget, we allow members to buy a kitchen for their own home at the contract price. Suddenly, that's got to be spot on. And I do understand, but members, please try to keep it to a minimum design, because at these contract pricing, okay, the designers don't want to be going back 3-4 times. That's maybe a retail experience. They're paying 3 times the amount for the kitchen. That's fact. You might not like it, yes, but that's why you're trying to buy a contract pricing kitchen for your own home. So 20 odd freaking designs on one kitchen is a bit much. Even I didn't get that, and I only did mine two times.
I wonder if I can just ask a follow-up question just on that, because it was myself who just raised the point. First of all, I'm very, very grateful to have Jill and Arron on the call. I think probably myself and everyone else really appreciates them giving the time and helping us out to kind of understand the process. And I think the daily phone call, Nick and Anthony, I think that's really helpful. That more than anything, I think will help us to alleviate any problems. So credit to you for that. The thing I wanted to just check, Jill, when you said 2 changes, because I'm about to go through the process of ordering my first kitchen with you, because I've only just recently joined, then I'm just trying to understand what does 2 changes actually mean? I guess is it like you do 1 appointment and then you go away and it's 2 further appointments, or is it like in 1 appointment you go in with your design, they mock it up for you, and if you've got anything that does need to change, like you say, it's 2 minor tweaks, or is it a bit of open heart surgery, and then you've got one final change. I'm just trying to understand, what does 2 changes actually mean?
Okay, 2 changes means that you
What
will
a
have
question.
the design, you would have the design done first, and then you would be able to have a further design change on that kitchen. I mean, don't get me wrong, today one of the branches did 20, so they weren't that bothered, but they do get a bit naffed off. But we try to limit the designs to 2 changes.
But
So,
are you talking, Jill, are you talking about 2 rounds of amendments, or 2 amendments, like let's say changing, as Arron said, a 400 wide unit to a 300 wide unit? Is that one change, or is it an email worth of bullet points, change this, change that, change the other?
I would say that it would be 2 designs. So you'd have your initial design, and you would have the design change from there, because you've had your plan, you've seen your layout. But if you go back into the store, you've had a kitchen design, you've sat with the designer, you thought, yeah, that's fine. You've just gone back to site, and the joiner, they have their own little ways of, oh, why didn't you do this, or why didn't you do that? So you're going back, you know, it might be plasterboard, it could be something else that's had, you know, an impact on the design change. And like Arron mentioned, from a 400 unit to a 300, to make sure that that's now going to fit in. So I would loosely say it was the design initially, and then a further design change personally. But as I said, some branches do more. We just need to limit those designs, because you are getting the best possible prices.
Okay, that's understood. Thank you for that. I'll jump off.
Okay.
Thank you, Nigel. And sometimes, yeah, a mistake can happen. You finalise the design, and suddenly the plumber's put the stopcock somewhere where you can't get it, behind the fridge, and you need to now move the fridge. Excuse my French. Shit's going to happen. Yes. So again, give the branch a call and say, look, I've got to change this. Can we move this from this? Can I pop in and just quickly do something? This stuff happens, yeah. In the building industry, this is going to happen. What we're not saying, you can't go back in. What we're saying to you is be sensible, yeah. 20 bloody redesigns is a nightmare for anybody. I'd lose the will to live.
Yeah.
Wayne's mentioned here that it's the changes that we've made internally with the daily call is change for the better. A really good change there. But in the past, some designers were not just interested. Now, I mentioned at the beginning that we were in a little bit of a wild west. It was a little bit of a gamble with regards to which branch you go into, which designer you go into that branch, and then which CSM sitting on top of that. How did each of these people get out of bed in that morning really should not be the business of any LMPG member. So we've really streamlined that half of the process to cater for that. In terms of going into a branch and they're not interested, as Nick said, you don't need to have an argument with that person. You don't need to get stressed out about it. Walk straight back out of the branch, pick up the phone to us. If it's office hours, we'll pick up immediately and we'll follow that through immediately as well. So we can
Absolutely.
For you, because we now have these processes that everyone needs to follow. It doesn't matter to me, it doesn't matter to Jill, Nick, or Arron, whether that design is in a good mood or a bad mood. You're a customer through LMPG. Okay.
And also, please, and I say this with all due respect, do not ring me up directly, and my number's everywhere, and tell me that Howdens aren't interested in looking after an LMPG. I got one of those last week. Yes, I said, what are you doing in freaking Howdens? He said, well, aren't we with Howdens? I said, no, we're with Magni. And he went, that's why they weren't interested.
Well, they shouldn't be.
And that's true. That happened to me last week. I did laugh. I said, you're having a laugh.
Right, Arron, we've delayed you long enough, and you've got quite a nice topic to talk about here. So please.
Yeah, so I'm going to open up, Anthony and members. I'm going to open up with sort of product launches in 2022. Just walk you through what we've brought into the range throughout the year. Scully Dark Oak is something we introduced, price band 1. Luna Pebble is price band 2. We've introduced alongside Luna Seagrass, and the Seagrass tone can be seen there on the Nova Seagrass picture on the slide there. Those are all in price band 2. In price band 4, we introduced the Hoxton Sumi Black, which is also available in a on an Integra profile, and in just hot off the press, really, and we released this in the last couple of weeks, is the Wardley Pebble, Wardley Charcoal and Wardley Midnight. They sit in the price band 6, so really probably more for your own individual kitchens as opposed to something you'd be putting into a rental, I would say. Moving into 2023, and this is all subject to change. One of the strategies that we want to employ with our product range is to increase our Nova offering. Trends are moving towards slab doors, and Jill will touch on that later, and also to broaden our Integra offering as well. So that's to put more of our doors onto the Integra profile, which is a true handleless. So it's sort of the one up from the Luna. Again, probably more appropriate for your own personal kitchen. A bit of insight that we've done over the last year. So we're always obviously watching and tracking the market. #1 interior kitchen trend reported was a green kitchen. 373,000 Instagram posts this year. To anybody that means anything to. And more blue tones evoke a relaxing, calming feel. So they're still lingering from sort of 2021. The blue was a big hit for us in 2021. It came in, and that's still hanging around that trend. And greens with more yellow shades associated with energy and happiness. How lovely is that? So we're looking to introduce throughout next year a Luna mid green and a Nova mid green, really catchy names. Obviously they won't be called mid green, they'll be called something else, Fog's Breath or something. But yeah, we're looking to introduce them during next year. Nova Midnight, Nova Pebble. We've got 5 new decors in our Ascoli range, and Winchester linen to add to the band 3 Winchester offering, and a new shaker, which wouldn't surprise me if it's a green tone and potentially could be on a lower banded frontal. We're also, as I said, we're looking to put more of our frontals onto the Integra platform, true handleless. So Ascoli and Nova, those slab doors, moving with trends, will all move as well, and all be available on our Integra handleless. And I've put a disclaimer at the bottom there. This is all subject to change, because at any given moment, the trend might change, and we've been working on something for 12 months and realise it's falling off a cliff, and then we'll pull it. But as we are at the moment, and where we stand now, and in sort of end of 2022, that's what we envisage doing with our product in 2023.
And do you have approximate timescales? Is this going to?
No, I mean this is very much an internal document. This page, it's something, and no timescales have been released to the masses in terms of Magnet. Never mind, sort of being able to. I was going to say this wasn't even on the test. No, so it's not.
This wasn't on the test, because I need to eat some humble pie here. Because members, I was in the room next door, and I had Jill and Arron mention Band 1 kitchens. I flew out of my freaking office straight into Anthony's office and going, what the freaking hell are you talking about Band 1 kitchens? I don't want that on our contract because they're crap. And Jill went, calm down. I understand, and I'll backtrack here, is that they're getting rid of all their 15mm doors. Arron and Jill, am I correct in saying that?
Yes. So throughout 2023, we'll be transitioning all of our 15mm Band 1 offering to 18mm at the same price.
At the same price.
And it's a much better, it's a much better quality product. It's edged better. It's just a better finish all round.
So we will give everybody an update when these Band 1 kitchens, because one thing we need to do is sign them off to say, yeah, because I don't want to be putting my name to a Band 1 kitchen that I don't think's fit for purpose to an MPG member. So I look forward to seeing them. And I was hard.
I've ordered your samples, Nick.
Sorry?
I've ordered your samples for you.
Good. Yeah, we could do an internal webinar with that and show them. Yeah. My point of view, that would be great, because Band 1 is slightly cheaper than Band 2. There's not a lot of difference, but it is slightly cheaper. But the #1 kitchen for us is the Luna, and it's nice to see you bringing out some new colours with Luna as well.
Yeah,
definitely. And we've got a question here actually, Nick. I almost daren't ask it earlier on. Which is, what is the real difference in quality between the price bands? Is price band 1 suitable for a rental property in terms of longevity?
I've got this right.
useful.
Don't buy band 1, buy band 2. I'm being very polite there until these new doors come in. Jill's looking at me absolutely disgusted.
No, I agree with you. We've been saying for God knows how many years now that the price difference between a band 1 kitchen and a band 2 kitchen versus the quality difference, £80 for a kitchen that's going to last you much longer, look a lot better for much longer as well. And that's exactly what you want from a magnet kitchen. Now, will our opinion change when we actually see the improvements made to the band 1? Maybe, but as it stands right now, we've not seen that. So I think that's still the go-to line for that question.
So, Jill, is my apology accepted?
Yeah, it's accepted, Nick, of course.
Because they really got a hard time. I threw out my band freaking 1 kitchens. You must be joking. It's like me trying to sell the Greenwich. I couldn't give the Greenwich away. And that's Howden's.
And if you really do want a headache, by the way, Nick, you can answer this one. Maybe we ought to bring this one in. Any chance we could access the Magnet Create colours? Now that's going to be a nightmare.
No.
Okay.
There are 2 reasons
Sorry.
why. That's a really retail experience. And what Magnet won't tell you, if you get a chip on the door, or it comes in because it's hand painted, yep, and it has a chip, it could take you 6 months to get that door replaced. Now, that was through COVID. So it wasn't never been on the contract. That is one area where it is a retail priced, and they keep that for just the retail arm. Okay. It is nowhere near contract. So my apologies for that. But there's an awful lot of colours, yeah, between in the Luna and. Okay.
Absolutely. It would be wonderful that if you think of how the contract market works, you know, local authority orders 300 of exactly the same kitchen. We're already taking the mickey a little bit by having this full range and having all these design appointments, etc., etc. To then go even more bespoke, well, we're just stepping out of contract market at that point, and that's exactly what the Create range is for.
And if you look at most contract divisions that Jill and Arron deal with, they'll have 1 kitchen. The council will pick the kitchen, and that's the only kitchen they'll get. They don't suddenly get halfway through a contract change to from a Luna or to a Winchester or to whatever range they want. That's the kitchen. You still have full range except that one. Okay.
Yeah. So here's just a nice pic of the new Wardley 20mm timber shaker door. Some new imagery for you just to show what that looks like. It's a bit more contemporary option to the Ludlow, but sits in the same price band. And what I'm showing you now is the Nordic Craft. This has a limited range content. It's designed really as an accent range, so it's something to complement another range, and you wouldn't be able to design a kitchen purely in Nordic Craft itself. Again, this is definitely very, very much for your personal kitchen, but we've shown it here with the Integra Hoxton Sumi Black, and on the previous slide there was an element of it in the Wardlow. Jill, would you mind just popping back the slide?
I actually don't know how to, if I'm honest.
Press at the bottom left, see there's a backwards arrow. You got a keyboard in front of you?
Yeah.
Press the back arrow on
that. When she pushes the button,
it kill me now.
Head.
This is it.
Is the keyboard connected to the computer?
Disappear.
Yeah.
I'm pressing the. Oh, I've gone.
Oh, we've gone forward. Now we've got to go back twice. We've got double.
Oh, sorry.
There we go.
Sorry.
Lovely. Yeah. So it probably wasn't worth the wait, but you can see a small double draw unit there in the middle of the tall elevation. Yeah, that's the one. So you can see it complements more traditional look as well as the contemporary look as well. So
I'm glad I ended my house. I don't like it.
No. Something to show you guys as well, members. We've overgone this last year. We've ran the biggest store overhaul we've run since 2008 in terms of a concept, and it's been very, very well received. It's based around biophilic design, which is at living and breathing spaces, bringing the outside in. I won't develop on that any more than that. help me out my debt. But essentially, it's about creating an enhanced customer experience that keeps people relaxed and a bit more at home. So moving away from where perhaps we were 20 years ago, where it was you'd come into a Magnet showroom and you'd have to, you'd be perhaps a little bit of an aggressive sell at times, and that was perhaps the 90s, early noughties, and what have you. So we're moving more to a more relaxed sort of feel, a more laid back approach to our stores and their appearance, as well as our approach in terms of designers and sales team. So that's something we're doing from a retail perspective, but obviously it's also a nice thing to show you guys as well. And I would ask you to go when you need a kitchen, if you're near any of these stores, then to drop into those as well, because they can offer you a bit of inspiration, particularly for a personal kitchen. Again, feedback's been really positive so far, and we've got an aggressive rollout plan to refresh more stores in 2023. So yeah, go and check out your local store.
And one thing that we've asked, which was brought on the test webinar, is as you are overhauling these stores, if we get notification, we can geographically target through email and say, you're 50 miles away, there's just been a new update to your local store, pop in if you're looking for a kitchen. Because I think that it's a huge overhaul, as you say, these stores, and we're not going to particularly make the trip 100 miles for it, but if it's down the road, it's well worth seeing. The only caveat to this is don't let the lovely retail kitchen designer, while you're in there, sweet talk you into getting a retail quote. Remember, you're still with LMPG. Yeah, and most of these stores will be mixed sites, so they'll have a trade desk as well as the retail showrooms. I think the best way to manage that is we'll have a rollout schedule. If we can get you something of that nature and pass it over, there'll also be local marketing done. But yeah, just to double check with us, I guess, that we're on the track to open these stores when we say we're going to open them.
A lot of members will say which kitchen, okay, so they won't know what the LMPG kitchen is, and for years Nick has literally brainwashed everybody into the Luna range. So and I'll just point out what the percentages there are. So this is live up to date. This is the price bands, and surprise 71% of members buy price band 2 kitchen. Now in that price band 2 kitchen, we've got the Tatton, which is a shaker door. We've got the Luna, which is the handless kitchen, which is Nick's go-to, and we've got the Novas. Okay, so what I'm going to tell you now is, so far this year, we've sold 2,700 kitchens have been dispatched for LMPG. The average order value is 2,200. 79% of members buy worktops with their kitchen. Obviously, some are going to buy granite. You've got your own granite supplier, and 53% are full appliances. So our go-to appliance is the Beko range. I won't mention other companies, but we do have a branded appliance, which is a recognised brand. And you might think that Beko students, or that's how you might perceive it, but believe me, Beko have worked tirelessly trying to get the energy efficiency down on their appliances, to water saving, energy saving, and they are quite an innovative company. So I would say just have a look at the facelift of the Beko appliances, because they're quite nice and quite well priced. 71% have purchased kitchens in price band 2, as I've just explained, and the trend, as Arron mentioned before, is moving more to the Nova range. The Nova range, because it's sleeker, it's a slab door, it's easier to keep clean, so you haven't got the integral handle on the top. It's more modern in appearance, more versatile. You've got options for different handles, how you want to change that look of the kitchen. And it's a robust door, so it's a straight through solid door, as opposed to, you've got vulnerabilities on the Luna door, on the packaging, if the doors are stacked high, or it's really in transport is going to be major issues on the Luna range. We do have those occasionally, on larger contracts when we're talking about volume 70 kitchens here or whatever, so I just need to point that out, that they are more robust. Nick mentioned before which is what we discussed the other day, your go-to kitchen. Now, this is one of the housing associations. I know you're not a housing association, but I'm just thinking for members out there that do have numbers of properties, sometimes this is a void default kitchen, which basically means it's an empty property. It's been a housing association. Somebody's been evicted, or they've left, or they've died, and the kitchen has got pound note signing hanging over it because it's not rented. There's no income coming in. So at a quick glance, they need to get that kitchen turned around pretty damn quick. So all I'd say is do have, like Nick mentioned before, a go-to kitchen. Keep it simple. It saves you time selecting. So you might have an oak kitchen with a black worktop. You might have a white kitchen with an oak worktop, whatever your combination is, and your go-to kitchen. I would strongly suggest that if there's members or landlords out there that do have multiple properties, to utilise this. And not only for that, from a maintenance point of view. So as one tenant moves out, another tenant moves in, there's a damage on a kitchen, you know what that kitchen is. And it's easier, you know that you bought it from Magnet, you know that it was the Ascoli or the Luna range or whatever it is, and it's there, it's already there, planted, and you think I need a 500 door or 600 door, and it's quite, you know, you don't need to drill through your paperwork and, you know, whatever. So it's just handy. And what we've done here is put the Nova kitchen there, so you can see. Okay, I'm just going to show you the Luna. So these are pictures of the Luna, because probably people are looking at us and thinking, what's a Luna kitchen, what's a Nova kitchen? So we've just put some imagery up. So this is sitting in price band 2, the Luna kitchen. So this is still a very, very popular kitchen, and it is. It's not a true handleless, but it is a handleless kitchen, as much as it's got a J handle on the top. So you just.
What do you mean by it's not a true handleless kitchen?
A true handleless kitchen has, Aaron mentioned before, they've got profiles.
There's one behind you, Jill.
Yeah, can you see my kitchen behind me?
No, don't start with that, because you're already on a tiny little screen.
Right, okay. Well, when you've got a kitchen, you've got profiles coming down, and you access the kitchen, you know, you open the kitchen by the side door, and that's a true handleless kitchen. So it's a slab door sitting on a profile. Okay. So
if
that's
you don't know what one of those is, go into a Magnet showroom store and have a look at that kitchen.
Have a look, because they are I mean, to be honest, they do need a bit more planning. And if you've got a load of appliances, you know, freestanding appliances, it's probably not your go-to kitchen, because when it works with integrated appliances, it looks really nice. And then I've just put versus this is the Nova kitchen. So you can see I don't know what your preference is. Everybody's different, and everybody likes what they like. But you can see there, this image here, the slate kitchen in the Nova range. It looks quite nice with you know, a wood worktop. It does look really nice.
And the other thing is, we did a competition last year or the year before about put pictures up on the social media. So what we did was, if you go into our Facebook group, put Magnet Kitchens, pictures, you'll see, that all the pictures of all different people's kitchens, and they're really nice. Somebody's screaming in my house because somebody's just scored at the football.
Okay, well, actually, Nick, going on to that, I think what we'll do is, should we have a little competition and see what designs come on, you know, for people that have done their kitchens, and how about we give them a voucher, a Marks and Spencer voucher?
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, great idea.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see what's done. Okay, and then on here, what I've done is we have 6 price bands in our kitchen, so you can see which kitchens are sitting in which price bands, all the same prices throughout those price bands. But what I wanted to show you was, this is quite a good gauge. So if you had your kitchen and you've got 8 units in it, you would know that a price band kitchen would be £1,062 there or thereabout, depending what combination you put in. But that kitchen there is £1,062. In price band 2, it's £1,131. And this is why Nick is saying this is your no-brainer kitchen, because there's only £60 difference between those 2 kitchens. And that kitchen includes, we've hidden nothing. The only things we haven't included is the appliances. So in that, you've got your base units, your wall units, your panels, your plinth, your worktops, your sink, your tap, and your handles. So you can see at a quick glance what the prices are throughout the ranges. So we've done that in an 8-unit kitchen, a 12-unit kitchen, and also a 16-unit kitchen. So if I was a retail designer and somebody came to me and I said to them, how much is a kitchen? How long's a piece of string? We don't know. But how many units have you got in your kitchen? If they say 16 and you want these worktops of this, if you have this, it could be this. And that's quite a good gauge. So instead of having your kitchen price in various ranges, it's just a quick ready reckoner that's already done for you. Okay.
Gil, can we have this on our we have this on our website? Because that would be really good to give people an idea of what the costs of kitchens. Yes.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, and the next one's over to Arron.
Yeah.
Give him the nice one.
So yeah, so I mean, price increase. I'll give you some brutal facts on this, and let's address the elephant in the Zoom. That's terrible, isn't it? So yeah, so.
Did you expect a laugh?
No, well, I'm not going to get a laugh. I don't expect one either, but it's dreadful. But yeah, I just want to talk to you about the experiences in terms of the increases that we've experienced this year as a business. Now, you'll see a little pie chart there, and it's in billion SEK. Now, the reason it's in billion SEK is because we're ultimately owned by a Swedish company, Nobia. But it just shows you there over the second half of this year, the increases we've had on certain raw materials. So cabinets, interiors, sheet material, 70%, exteriors, 90%, appliances shot at 26%, which is less relevant to you guys out on this call, but yeah, and certainly frontals 13%. It's just to give you a bit of context behind why we're increasing the prices by 9.6% going into next year. We don't have a choice, quite simply. I mean, you guys get the most competitive rates that we can offer, and we're left with no choice but to put a 9.6% price increase in. So that's where we are, and it is purely down to inflation and raw material costs that have been directly impacted by activities this year from, with the Russia-Ukraine war and those sort of things. So
can I ask Jill, just sorry to interrupt, Arron, the prices, if we're going to put those on our website, of the last 3 kitchens you've shown, is that post 2023 price increase?
Yeah, I've done it for 2023. Yeah.
So those prices,
can you then do one for? Sorry, actually, was you going to ask this question? We cut across you. Can you reprice it at the new prices so people can really see how much of the price has increased?
They are priced at 2023.
Oh,
that's already the new prices, Nick.
They're ready on the website.
Okay.
If you remember, there was a 16-unit kitchen there, band 2 for under $2,000 at the new prices. I mean, it's crazy what you've been able to get away with at those meetings, mate.
Okay, one of the other questions I was going to ask, because I saw it flash up, is that anybody that gets a design done, okay, in December, that price will hold until the end of January. Am I correct in saying that, Arron?
So yeah, so just to cover that point off, so 2022 prices, anything quoted before 22nd of December will be subject to 22 prices, as long as it's delivered before the end of Jan. So as long as you have it delivered before the end of Jan, you get 2022 prices.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, anything quoted when we go back into stores, when they're back open in January, anything quoted then will be subject to 2023 prices.
I was waiting for questions to be asked.
Yeah,
okay,
may well be some.
That's fine. No, I've got an absolute trunk load of. Hey, look, you go back to the elephant. Trunk load of questions here. But I don't know how long we've got left on here, so I wanted to let you speed through whatever you've got left, and then we can
do a bit of a Q&A at the end. Cool. So don't forget, we also sell joinery. So what we do see is very, very popular with you guys on kitchens. Really competitive on a lot of joinery products, but we don't sell a lot of joinery to the members. So it's just it's a bit of a. I know you've got other options as well within the membership, but We do offer internal, external doors, sliding doors, flooring, timber, UPVC, valves with stairs, timber and sheet materials, including plasterboard. So we offer all of those things from our trade stores, and they're there to be taken advantage of by members at trade prices. Okay, so there's not been specially negotiated rates specifically for contracts in terms of LMPG. Reason that is because margins are far slimmer on these items than they are on kitchens, so there isn't the scope to negotiate down. But you will be able to take advantage of the same rates that a builder and trade customer will be able to take advantage.
That's enough, because you'll have juicers on the phone to me because they're watching this. Yeah.
Magnet contact logs. So Jill alluded to this earlier. This is available to all members, and it highlights the escalation process and also highlights stores, the favourable stores in each of the regions. So yeah, so anything that's highlighted gold or yellow or whichever colour you wish to use is for us deemed a store that, you know, step in and should get a decent level of service. And just one more. So magnet stores, yeah, click on. Biggest sale of year in retail, it still doesn't touch your rates. So you may see at the moment, it's the time of the year when we're the most aggressive with our marketing for the winter sale, right? So you may see TV adverts, newspaper adverts, video on demand, online. It will get nowhere near your rates. Regardless of what we're offering on the retail offering, we get nowhere near your rates. So yeah, hopefully we can put that one to bed before it happens.
I'm glad you've said that, because it happens all the time. And
Every year.
Nowhere near your rates.
And then we got to go back to Jill and say, Jill, somebody's got a sale price and it's nowhere near LMPG. Can we change it to LMPG? And then we have a fight on our hands.
We close on the 22nd of December and we reopen on the 3rd of January. And just one more thing, over to Jill for this one.
Wish a happy Christmas and a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from Magnet and the team, from everybody at Magnet.
Lovely, thank you. So as I mentioned, we've got a trunk load of questions, I think I said for some reason, that have come through. Now, some of these are really long, but I'm going to give them a go and see where we get. So we mentioned earlier on that we've got band 1 through to band 6. Now, the Integra Ludlow and indeed the Ludlow aren't in the brochure that we've online, but do we have access to them as LMPG members at LMPG rates?
So currently Ludlow isn't on the Integra profile, to my knowledge, unless that's changed, but Ludlow is available.
Can you check that? Because the question is specifically says Integra Ludlow. Now, I don't know any more than you do, but can we just double check that?
Yeah, a quick look on the website will probably confirm it. So if you give me a moment.
That's fine. Okay, so while you're doing that then, let's jump on to another question. And this is a nice long one for you, Jill. I walked into a Magnet store 2 weeks ago for a refurb at one of my buy-to-let properties. I was very nervous as I have had a few design issues in the past with that brand. However, it was a very different experience. It was, I had a chat, I had a laugh. I sent over the current design, thoughts on the new design, the floor plan, and pictures of the room for context. Received the initial design back within a week, which had me in shock. Still need to finish this off with a few amendments now that I have the plan, and then it's done. Delivery times have also changed, as it's not 2 weeks, I understand, which again is great. I'm not a vocal person, but will absolutely feed this back, and the designer was a breath of fresh air. Now, I did not know when I started reading that, Jill, as lovely as it was, that there was not a question mark at the end. So just a bit of feedback while we wait for Arron to get.
Oh, that's really nice. So we like positive feedback because we hear bad feedback all the time. So to get some positive feedback is really good. So we do have designers changing up and down the country. Obviously, people leave, people come, and everything like that. But what we have been doing as well, which we haven't mentioned in this call, is the regional managers have been attending regional meetings with the Magnet hierarchy, and what they're trying to do is to drive this message through that LMPG customers are a vital part to our business and they're as precious as everybody else. So we want to look after you. That is the message. And like Arron just showed you, the best branches to go to, they've got more staff and more knowledge. It is better to think, if I travel 5 miles down the road, I'm going to get a better service. And that's what it's about.
But always
Absolutely.
remember, pick up the phone. Don't wait 2 weeks.
No.
Yeah. Okay, Arron. does the
Yes,
integral
yes,
flow
back to
exist?
me. So I've had a look on the Magnet site, and there is an integral Ludlow that's just been released, showing only in midnight at the moment. And I'm going to have to double check that. Midnight is actually, so Ludlow's a paint to order range, but there are 3 stocked colours, which means they're available to members and available to contracts. Just need to check whether that extends to integral Ludlow. So that's a one to come back to you on.
Okay, no, appreciate that.
I don't see any reason why it shouldn't.
Roger's asked, what's with the quality of the units? When can we just buy the doors, etc., to bring a kitchen up to date without having to replace the units? Or does he just buy band 1 and just use the door?
The problem that you've got there, our prices, our contract prices, and I know it may seem quite wasteful, the doors are as expensive as the whole units. In some cases, they're actually more because we've negotiated prices for the whole kitchen. We're not really interested in selling just doors.
Every quote I've seen just for a door has been more expensive for that same unit and the door.
Yeah.
Single one.
And don't forget, we're on European sizes, so it depends on the kitchen. If it's a Magnet kitchen and it went in after 2018, the chances are it's going to fit the kitchen. But if it's another manufacturer's kitchen, or if it's a Magnet kitchen that was bought or put in prior to that date, it's not going to fit, because we've gone from a 720 door to a 704. We've made our wall units deeper, so we've got more cubic capacity, and our plinths lower. So our doors aren't going to fit everybody's kitchen.
Yeah, of course, yeah, and that's a kind of across the board. It's always a different gamble. So, for our, as you say, it's wasteful perhaps, but it's much easier to buy the whole thing through LMPG. Rian's asked, please can you introduce a full-size larder cupboard so you don't have to buy 2 by 500 mil larder cupboards presently on offer and end up with a panel between them. Larders are very on trend now and have been for a while. There's a little bit of an incentive for you.
I'd love to say we had that power. I would love to say we did, but we're still trying to wrestle for product for the contracts market for customers outside of just LMPG members. There are, on that though, there are some traditional unit options available in selected ranges. And one of the best ways of understanding and working out what's available in what range is to grab a trade brochure, and in there, sorry, there we go, trade brochure. Yeah, if you get one of those, it gives you a bit of a matrix, and it tells you what units are available in what ranges. So that might be another thing to have a look.
Isn't that in the contract division brochure at the back?
Don't think there'll be a full one. No, I mean, I've got that as well to hand, so let's have a look.
Yeah, I would be surprised if that's big enough, Nick.
Okay.
No.
Is it on your website?
The brochure is. It's downloadable on the website, on the Magnet Trade website.
Absolutely. So people go to that, download the website.
Yeah. So go to magnettrade.co.uk.
Yeah.
Go to the brochure downloads. It's there.
Okay, brilliant. Thank
I thought you meant your website.
you. You're gonna have to help me out with this one here, guys, because I've got no follow-up to this. Can you talk on different quality tops, please? Is that worktops, perhaps?
Yes.
Yeah. So okay. So with LMPG members, it's really just the laminate that we look at, because there isn't a quartz offering, and I think there's a different mechanism for that, isn't there? You've got another opportunity for that. So I mean, in terms of laminate, to be quite honest, they're all much of a muchness. They're all the same quality. In terms of the construction, they're the same. The aesthetic is different, and you'll pay more for a square edge than you will for a ball nose. But the quality is the same. It's just the aesthetic. Some of the actual laminates themselves, probably I would say you get a grain texture, so you could argue they're a better quality. But it's an aesthetic thing as opposed to, it's got a different wrap on it as opposed to as opposed to actually a quality thing. The core is consistent throughout, whether it's a bull nose or a square edge. But what will change is the wrap and the profile, and that's where it starts ramping up in cost. It's more of an aesthetic thing. So really, you know, our sort of pearl black or Everest black offering would be like quality to a square edge sort of white marble or something of that nature, Himalayan marble. Yeah,
I think an important thing to note, you mentioned bull nose versus square edge there, and maybe redesign is going to consider this, but for rental quality kitchens, it can be very tempting to go for the square edge because they're quite on trend. They look a lot nicer, to be honest, but they also dent and chip a lot easier. You can imagine the impact on the corner versus the round bull nose is much more likely to degrade that little bit quicker. So for a rental quality kitchen, don't be too tempted to go for the square edge just because it looks nice on first viewing.
Again, on our social media, a lot of people were saying, oh, I bought a square edge from Howdens or B&Q, etc., because it was all the rage for square edge, and they were replacing it 2 years later because people were like catching plates or their saucepans and it was denting. And once you break that seal, you can get water
that much worse.
Into the broken seal.
Sorry, I finished your sentence and that's not what you were going to say. Water ingress, absolutely.
You know, on your website, we did a brochure for you. I think it's here. Yeah, I think it's here now. So we just put a little price brochure together for you just to help members understanding about the worktop. So we're saying that these worktops, bearing in mind these are 2022 prices, and this hasn't been updated yet, but we've got a range of worktops, and we're telling a little story about each one. That a laminate worktop is very durable, it's hard wearing, it's, you know, quite cheap. So, you know, it ticks a lot of boxes. And then I don't know if it'll go on to the next one. And then we did the laminates. So we did the square laminates. So we're doing different thicknesses. 22 millimeters, very popular today. We did the 28 square edge and the 38 millimeter square edge. So we put all these together for you. And also, Arron touched on before about the compact laminate. The compact laminate is a 12.5 millimeter core product. It's very hardware and it's very durable. It's not for everybody to fit it. You do need, and this just explains that you do need a fitter that's got a bit of experience on fitting these. And then obviously you've got your solid timbers. So you're looking at a length of compact laminate, £300 and 21p. It looks really good. A solid laminate, a solid timber kit worktop is £205. Would you put it in your property? Question mark, would you?
No,
you might, but it needs maintenance. It's solid. So
and just to bottom that out, Jill, I mean, from a fitting perspective as well, you're paying an extra half a day to a builder to fit that, at least, plus consumables, because it's tough product, but it's solid core, so it'll, you know, choose up consumables as well. So yeah, I mean, unless it's for your own home where it would look, you know, it looks great in the right setting and it's a great aesthetic, then I'd stick to your bull nose laminates for rentals.
Right, fantastic, Jill. I'd forgotten we had that, but it is really useful. Roger's asked with a really nice kiss face emoji here. This one's for you, Arron. Since updating all your showrooms, can we access the removed units for cheap?
What?
They do sell off displays, but I mean, it's kind of first come, first served. They've usually got a list of builders that they'll ring up, and they'll just, you know, they'll be gone before you know they're available. So
absolutely, and you know what, with LMPG prices, you don't need to. But hey, look, God love the try, right?
Wayne's just asked where that brochure's available.
That's on LMPG's website. If you log in, we should have a documentation section. We've got a worktop brochure. We've also got appliances brochure, and I think we've got one more, Jill. Sink and taps. That's it. All very useful stuff produced by Magnet this year. So yeah, the pricing is relevant to right now for the most part. But just,
have we answered all the questions? Move on.
No, we don't, and they keep coming in quicker than I can read them out. Nick said, not you by the way, Nick, a different Nick. Sorry, joined a touch late. Can we use the retail store for the nice design experience / expertise and go to the trade store to execute the purchase. Yes, you can go in and see all the kitchens and have a bit of a chat, but come on, be reasonable. Don't take all their knowledge, because they're doing that with the idea of getting a retail sale. If you then turn on your heel and say, by the way, I'm LMPG, well, it's going to make life harder for the next LMPG member that walks in. So go into the retail showroom, have a look at the kitchens, have a chat, but just be reasonable and let them know you're LMPG. So that,
But also, Anthony, there's an awful lot of stores, have a go-to person that look after LMPG, and a lot of them are a retail designer.
Yeah, but particularly if it's a trade and retail store combination. Nigel's commented back to Nick here with a link to the Magnet Trade Find Your Nearest Store link, which is really good. That's where you're going to find your nearest trade store. Now, it might be a trade and retail store, but they're the ones that you need to book the trade design appointments at.
Guys, I'd just like to inform everyone that we are past 8 o'clock at this point, so we might need to rush things. And also giving a quick break here. Where's
the mute button?
With the peak time here, pretty much, what's the average delivery time looking for? Like, say, for instance, a member orders a kitchen now, between design and delivery, what kind of time frame are we looking at?
Depends which price band they order. I think if you're ordering from a price band 1 or 2 to 3 weeks, I'd leave 3 weeks, but likelihood is you get it quicker than that. I mean, if it's a band 6, you might be waiting 5-6 weeks. That's where we're at. Another point on that, you touched upon being peak sale period. Footfall is at its highest during this time of the year. It is the winter sale, as I mentioned earlier. We do aggressively market our retail offering during this period. To say it's 10 times what the average footfall is the rest of the year is not an exaggeration. So you may find that during the early part of January in particular, if you want to go in and get a quote and design, instead of perhaps waiting a few days to a week for an appointment, you might be waiting a couple of weeks, as an example. That I expect that in limited cases, but
I don't want to be waiting a couple of weeks. Now, if anybody's got to wait a couple of weeks, you get back on the phone to us, because that's not acceptable. I'm not going to wait 2 weeks for a design.
I guess well, it's probably one to take offline, Nick. But if they've got appointments backed up day after day,
then the CF managers are going to come in. I can't be waiting 2 weeks for a design, and because that means I could be waiting 4 or 5 weeks, 6 weeks.
Okay, I've just given you fair warning.
Then that's we need to bring that up. But Aaron, I can tell you now that members are not going to wait that long.
And it's not a case of they're prioritising other customers. It will be a case of there'll be a queue of people booked into a diary.
And we have an issue then. I can tell you now.
It's no different from any other year. It's not going to.
We've never had a 2-week delay for appointments ever, even in your sales in the last 10 years.
Just speak to us. If somebody's waiting, just let us know. I think what Aaron's probably saying is that the retail sales just about to hit us, so a third of the whole business for the retail sector will be taken in during that first month alone.
I totally understand that. Yeah. I understand the normal wait time is between 3 and 5 days to design, yes, but we can't be waiting 3 weeks, 2 weeks. Yeah. We still have our members to look after. Sorry if you don't like that, but that's reality.
Okay, fine.
I've got a man in the middle now. Who's he?
You got a man in the middle. That's a member. I've muted that anyway. No, fair point, Nick. Now, as Aaron mentioned, we've got these retail sales are not anything new, and we will often send out an email at the beginning of the year and say, hey, look, be careful, it's going to be busier. It will be busier, but you're dead right. That does not mean that LMPG members all of a sudden are having to go elsewhere for the kitchens, because is what will happen if the lead times are that long. Now, I've got 11 questions backing up here, so I'm going to have to move on very quickly, but by all means, let's have a conversation about that after this meeting. So Alan's asked, can we have this presentation, please? Of course, they're all uploaded to LMPG's YouTube channel, so you can watch the full thing. When is the price increase being applied? Is it from the 1st of Jan 2023? It'd be the 3rd that you open, isn't it?
We open on the 3rd. Realistically, it will be applied from the 26th of December. But yeah, we open on the 3rd, so it doesn't.
Yeah, sure. And the trade stores, are they closed over Christmas, same times, right?
Yes, they are. Yes. Yeah.
Delivery to order we've covered. Does that include fire doors when we're talking about joinery? And let's have a very quick.
Yeah, trade prices on fire doors. Yeah.
Okay, great. Gonna have to bring up Juicing again. And talking of which, I've got a message from Hugh here about Nick mentioned Juicing, and I assume LMPG is aware that Saint-Gobain have sold Juicing. Can you confirm that this will not change the LMPG offer going forward? Absolutely. I'm going in to see Juicing tomorrow. Now, we've received absolutely the same thing most customers will receive, which is, hey, look, we've been sold, and it's fantastic news. Saint-Gobain sold CTD, our tile partner, 9 months ago, and we've had no interruption there at all, and we don't anticipate.
We actually get a better service.
Hopefully.
We have been getting a better service on tiles.
With CTD, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're much more independent. They put a lot more investment there. That's the same noise that we're hearing from Juicing as well. And this appears to be a very good thing rather than a very bad thing. Time will tell, but we've got a very great account management team there that look after us. So what else have we got? Do Magnet have plans to do wardrobes in the by any chance in the future?
We do sliding wardrobe doors. Freestanding wardrobes we don't at the moment, and I don't think there'll be any plans to release any of our products as bedroom furniture as sort of a freestanding offering, if that's what that is asking.
Let's go with that, because I said we have 11. I've read 4 and I've still got 11, so gotta keep pressing on here. I have a blank canvas kitchen ready to be measured and designed. I'll contact Derby Trade Office tomorrow morning for an appointment. Hopefully, I should be able to get a quote by the 22nd, even if the order is first week of 2023. Do you think that sounds likely?
I would hope so. Yeah, I mean, you've got a week, so yeah, absolutely.
And that's your stomping ground, Aaron. So
certainly is.
If you're getting much of a delay on that,
yeah.
He'll be ringing. I tell you what, I'll make sure he rings Aaron. And you can tell him he can wait welcome. 2 weeks.
For sure. Got a lot.
Aaron,
which is really good. A lot of people saying thank you, but they've got to go off and eat dinner, and I think that's code for watching the football. Nick, if you know now, we can plan for the future.
That's sticking up for Aaron there.
Yeah, it is. But no, the rest of them, luckily enough, as I've gone through them, are saying thank you very much, particularly Gillian and Arron for your transparency there. And not to toot our own horns, but we got a couple there as well, Nick, as well as Bav. Now, Bav has messaged me privately as well, saying, end the episode on Roger's message. So why don't we shoot over to Bav there? Thank you, Jill. Thank you, Aaron. Bav, what has Roger said?
I mean, I was hoping you would have just read the message. Essentially, Roger's one of those people that I feel like I've seen Roger's comments in every episode this season.
Yeah, he's been here every episode for the last 10 years, not just this season.
And not just like comments or questions, but he's also constantly answering questions for the members as well. So yeah, he's just wishing everyone a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. And I didn't think there was a better way to end this episode and this season, so that's why I forwarded it to yourself. But yeah, Happy Holidays, everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. Can I just say one thing about Magnet? I know I give him a hard time, but on behalf of LMPG and its members, yeah, and you've been one of our biggest contracts, well, you are our biggest contract, yeah, and the amount of business that we do with you is absolutely phenomenal. When we were 10 years ago and we did like £100,000 worth of business, Jill, in our first 6 months, and suddenly we're at 6.5 million pound. Yeah, on behalf of LMPG and its members, we really like to thank you for the hard work. Aaron, I know I give you a hard time, mate, but
you're welcome.
We argue all the time. It's always to improve the relationship between our members and your stores to get looked after. But deep down, I'd just like to thank you and Magnet on behalf of LMPG for staying the course with us. Yeah, and may continue for the next 4 or 5 years. How long we got on our contract, Matt? Jill, is it still 4 years to go?
Yeah,
I think it's still 4 years to go.
We only signed it again last year, didn't we? Another 5
Yeah,
years.
that's what I'm saying. It's 4 years to go. So you still got me for 4 years. Okay. But like Jill said, I've gone great.
You are.
But yeah, just like to say thank you. And I wish everybody a happy Christmas and a happy new year. And thanks for your support.
Definitely. Thank you. And
All right.
you know, it's very easy to overlook, but Jill mentioned earlier on in the last 4 months, we've done 2,700. Sorry, last year we did 2,700 kitchens with Magnet. That's 2,700 kitchens put into the private rental sector for tenants. Now that doesn't happen in every private rental property. So thank you so much to those that have stayed the course with us at LMPG, and thank you, Magnet, for your support. It really has been, it's been a huge impact in the private rental sector since we started our partnership 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
And don't say that to Andy, Jill.
I was going to say, I was going to start crying there. So thanks, everyone.
Don't you say that to Andy, for God's sake, yeah? Because he
Thanks all. Merry Christmas.
Be
See you
good.
later.
Cheers. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.